a Barbie girl in the Barbie world. If you had seen me as a child, you would find me twirling on the stage at my school's annual event. That was my universe, full of dance, glitter, and endless imagination. But at home, my universe looked different. Instead of storybooks, I had site plans sprawled across the dining table. Instead of bedtime stories, I listened to business stories. I watched my father build real estate projects while I built castles in the air. Subconsciously, I was being trained at both. My creative and analytical mind, and both were resonating deeply with me. At school, it was colors, art, movement. At home, it was numbers, deals, and business negotiations. I was living in two different frequencies, one that made my heart dance and one that made my mind race. And I thought, why can't I be both? Is management a science or an art? The famous question from our old textbooks was being lived by me since childhood. But childhood has a way of turning into real-life dilemmas. As I grew, the question of balancing between leadership and creativity was not just a thought, it was a choice that I had to make. I found myself stepping into the roles of leadership, from school captain to leading school events, constantly being drawn towards leadership while still craving the freedom of creativity. But I wasn't struggling between the two choices. I was searching for a way to bring them together, or finding a frequency where both could exist in harmony. And the more I stepped into the roles of responsibility, the more I understood that this frequency comes with pure resonance with your core values and allowing them to shape everything you do, creating something far greater than the sum of its part. And I thought that this can be done with. In physics, this resonance happens when one striking object causes another to vibrate at the same frequency. Think of a tuning fork. When one fork is struck through another, the other one vibrates without it being touched. Now imagine this in real life. When you speak with authenticity, people don't just hear you, they listen to you. When you lead with purpose, the right opportunities and people naturally gravitate towards you. And when you lead your business with values, your customer does not just buy from you, he believes in you. Success isn't about chasing. It's about attracting by vibrating at the right frequency. But how do you truly find your true frequency? I needed answers. Not just inspiration, but real insights about how to build something meaningful. And so I turned to books. I immersed myself in the journeys of entrepreneurs, businessmen, decision makers, constantly decoding the patterns of leadership, businessmen, and impact. I wasn't reading. I was preparing. Because I didn't just wanted to do big things. I wanted to do them in a way which felt right to me. And in order to build something meaningful, I thought I needed a strong foundation. That passion wasn't alone enough. And I needed something to master the language of business. And so I pursued chartered accountancy. Numbers became my everyday soup, auditing became my life, and while others were auditing finances, I was auditing something else, purpose. I looked at every company and asked the question, what value are they really creating? Because some had the numbers but no impact, while some had the impact but no substance. And I kept thinking, what if business is about more than just profit? What if it is about something deeper? And somewhere between the balance sheets and financial statements, I started layering my life with experiences in order to understand this better. I studied Reiki, joined Toastmasters, taught underprivileged children. I enrolled myself in the courses of women entrepreneurship and sustainability, and I even applied for FIFA volunteering, seeking ways to integrate purpose into business. But let's be honest, my friends, success and growth isn't just about wins. I faced my own share of hurdles. I encountered setbacks in my chartered accountancy and battled self-doubt more than I could count. But I did not let it define me. Failure became my training ground, and instead of fearing from it, I started resonating with it. And the more I failed, the more I understood that resonance is not about never getting up, it's about how quickly you get back up. In the year 2020, my MBA application essays were filled with grand goals. Expanding my business, forging partnerships with alliances and elite brands, and going global. I thought this prestigious degree was the key to unlock my dreams. But then, the COVID-19 pandemic happened. I remember sitting at my desk, now watching my applications, which was meaningless in a world that had come to a standstill. My carefully written future was now disrupted. And then something happened. I started doing the very things I had written in my MBA application essays and started executing them without a classroom, without a degree, and without waiting for permission. And then the moment came. The one that would turn everything I had learned into something real. I was not just learning from business leaders, I was about to become one. I still remember the weight of the pen in my hand when I was 25. It felt heavier than usual. Not because of the nerves, but because of the gravity of what I was about to do. The room was quiet, except for the crisp shuffle of papers being pushed towards me. And across the table sat executives from one of the largest hotel chains in the world, those who had defined luxury and legacy. And now, here I was on the verge of something that would reshape mine. Well, it was not just a contract. It was a bridge between the past and the future, between what had been and what was yet to come. I found myself sitting there, and it was the first and the largest deal of my career and the first major branded hotel partnership for our company. But more than that, it was the first step in rewriting a 35-year-old story, one that had been rooted in real estate and was now expanding into hospitality. And as I made my signature, something shifted. The ink dried in seconds, but the shift it created would last for generations to come. It wasn't just about securing a deal, it was about diversifying a legacy, reshaping an industry, and proving that bold moves define the future. And that day I knew I wasn't just continuing a business, I was building something entirely new. Today, I lead multi-dollar projects. I have rebranded a 35-year-old company and have given it a new identity. I have developed a transformative strategy that has propelled the company into a new era. A blueprint that took the portfolio of our projects to the next level, elevating standards, enhancing market positioning. I have pioneered the integration of technology in real estate, bringing Metaverse and Oculus. I have uplifted the existing teams, invested in learning and development, and hired subject matter experts. But more than that, I have mapped a trajectory for the future of the company that will stand the test of time. I saw potential. Potential not just to build homes, but communities, cities, and the future. I thought, I can really change this. I took something rooted in tradition and infused it with creativity, innovation, and vision. And the more I understood with every challenge was that the truth, that legacy sets the stage, but leadership is what turns it. And so I started leading with frequency. So let me ask you a question. If leadership was a sound, what would it be? Would it be a loud speaker commanding attention, a ticking clock measuring results, or would it be a sharp clap of authority demanding immediate action, or would it be a whisper of an idea spreading quietly but powerfully? What if I told you that leadership is not about power or influence? What if I told you it is about gravity? The one that does not keep your feet on the ground but pulls you towards something greater. Well, it took me to the movie Interstellar, which is not just about space exploration, but about time, gravity, and forces that pull you towards something greater than yourself. What if the best leaders create an orbit that others willingly follow? And so I formulated the Interstellar Leadership Code. First, the wormhole, creating possibilities. In the movie Interstellar, the crew faces the impossible. They have to travel through a wormhole in order to find humanity's next home. Well, it wasn't just a shortcut, it was a belief that what seems impossible can be made possible. And as I started, I remember my first real estate venture, people told me, stick to advisory goals, not negotiations. That guests want luxury, not heart. But I had seen something different growing up. My grandmother turning her small bread and breakfast into a thriving community hub, blending purpose and profit. True leaders create possibilities. Second, time dilation, the weight of every decision. On Miller's planet, 1 hour equals 7 years. A small mistake can cost in decades. Well, leadership is no different. A small decision can cost the future in a big way. True leaders create and bend time in their favor. And third, the tesseract, an echo beyond time. The most powerful time of the movie is when Cooper realizes that the force guiding them was not about logic or technology, it was about something far greater, resonance. When we built the Nasik's first animal ambulance, it was not about a vehicle or a service. It was about an echo of the voiceless being taken care of. When I introduced Indian green building standards to my company, I faced resistance. I was told that green buildings are costly and that sustainability is just a trend. But I stood my ground. And today, every project I touch is built with sustainability at its core. True leaders are not loud, they echo beyond time. But there is another layer to this conversation, one that is not being talked about much. What if the very definition of leadership does not include you? What if people see your ambition as a challenge and not as an asset? For women in business, leadership is not about influence, it's about rewriting the rules. Real estate? Is that not a tough or a risky industry for a woman? Are investors and clients even going to believe in you? What happens when you get married? Who will run the show? Well, I had no time for those questions. I was too busy building. In India, 23% of the women are engaged in real estate. That is 50% lower than other developed countries. While 57% of the US real estate agents are women, the global picture is nuanced. But the statistics still show that women are not just entering these industries, they are redefining them. Whether it is about closing a commercial deal in Chicago or a resort deal in Bali, women are proving that value-driven leadership is not just a trend, it's the future. Women are CEOs, builders, investors, creators, but rising isn't easy. The resistance, the skepticism, it was all there. And yet I realized I did not have to fight it. I just had to make sure that my work spoke louder than any doubt and resonated with my actions. And today, my journey is still unfolding. And every expansion, every project, is a testament to what women in real estate and business can do. And one thing I know for sure is that resonance is your superpower. Well, each of you has a unique frequency. The question is, how far will it reach? So I ask you, whether as a student, an entrepreneur, a visionary, a dreamer, what will you build that will truly resonate? Just tune into your core frequency, eliminate the static and the noise, and most importantly, broadcast your frequency boldly. And today, I'm still the girl who danced on Barbie Girl. But now, I create my own tune. A tune that blends business and art, a tune that breaks barriers and builds legacies, a tune that echoes in boardrooms, communities, and across the world. Because real success is not about standing in the Hall of Fame. It is about standing in your truth, so unapologetically, so powerfully, that the world has no choice but to listen. And trust me, when you truly resonate, the world will listen. Thank you.